the second, what do you say, the second part is just beginning. Hi, this is Sonali Bendre and you're watching me on PeepingMoon.com.
Hi guys, this is Ankita. You are tuned into PeepingMoon.com, and today if I'm going to tell you who I am interviewing, well, she has been a childhood crush for many of us. In fact, before even me, there have been crushes, and I've been hearing stories and tales from my cousins. So I'm just going to dive deep into talking to Sonali Bendre. That how does it still feel? I'll tell you that the first time I told one of my cousins I am meeting you, and like, oh my god, I love her. I'm like, okay. So you have been a
Sweet.
childhood crush for so many people, but then you started your career as a model.
Yeah.
And guys, 27 years we are clocking here.
Wow. I don't think I want to know.
But
it doesn't feel like that.
doesn't feel like that. But coming from a family of civil servants, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, my father was in the central government service.
What prompted
was a
you
homemaker.
to come into modeling back in 90s?
Really, again, it was just by chance. It was an accident. It was in college, and so there was this fashion show that was happening in college, and it was just the beginning of all these fashion shows that was happening. And the girl who was supposed to walk with this friend of mine, I think broke her leg or broke her arm or something like that. And they were like, you have to do it. I had no idea how to do it. And they were like, we'll teach you. So we did it. Somebody got clothes, somebody put up my hair, we did some lipstick, and we walked and we won the prize. And somebody in the audience saw, and that is where I got my first ad campaign. The first ad campaign was being shot by Gautam Rajyadesh and Mickey. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So I go for the shoot. I have no idea what to do. And Mickey is like, eyebrows are not done. Or whatever. I said, I've never done them. And he was
How
like,
old were you?
I was barely like 17.
17.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was junior college that it had, I had just about.
And we're talking about Mickey Contractor, guys.
Yeah, 16. And so I've started around that time. 15, 16 is when I started working. So yeah, that was that. And he did my eyebrows.
He has this fascinating skill now with you, and then Kajol also with the eyebrows. He always says, just give me my eyebrows, kare. Mickey says that.
Yeah.
You go wonders.
He's done that with me. So that was the first time that my eyebrows were ever done. And yeah. Then Gautam and they taught me how to pose. So I learned from the best, I would say. And yeah.
But
looking back.
Yeah, didn't you miss on those? Because those are the years of also joy and fun when you have your college life just hanging around, and you ultimately ended up becoming one of the most renowned faces when it came to ad and modeling.
Yeah, so also there was a bit of a change that was happening at that point of time. Advertisement and ad films were turning into these little stories. Before that, it was just the models, and you just kind of posed. But here they had started telling small stories. So suddenly the face of advertising was changing. They were looking for people who could emote. So I was right there, and so I never really did the ramp. I was very scared to do it, but I did a lot of this. So I would go for auditions, do these ads, and I got noticed from these ads. I got films. So it just went on from there.
You didn't miss the college part of it, like going around with the friends and you dived into work
I did
early.
do that, but not as much of it. But also the thing was that it was great money, and I needed that. So it was good to do it because nowhere else could I have earned that kind of money. So.
What landed you into Bollywood? Does anybody knows that story, that who spotted you while you were spotted at a college walk by the best? Then what landed you to Bollywood?
It was a hair commercial, and the close-up at the end of that hair commercial was what got me my films, to be honest. So when I turned and I looked. And if you see that my first film, which was Naraz, though that didn't come out first, Aankh came out first. But if you see in Naraz, in Sambhala Hai Maine, there is a shot where I turn around in the same way, with tossing my hair. And yeah, that is how it was. Yeah, and that's how I just started doing these films. In fact, Stardust was coming out with the Stardust Academy, and when I went there, I got a call, and I went there. I thought I went there for an audition, and I thought I was auditioning for an ad film. And when I realized it was for movies, I said, look, this is not what I want to do. And they're like, no, no, but you should audition and whatever. I said, no, I'm not interested in this. And I need to go because I'll not be allowed to go get to college the next day because I'll not be allowed out otherwise if I'm late. So I need to go home. And they said, no, okay, chalo, we'll finish with you first. And just, I said, I've never done this. I don't know what to do. Just read it out. Can you read? I said, yeah, I can read Hindi, So they said, yeah, just read it out and all that. So I remember standing there and I just read it out and I thought it was such a fun thing to do and I read it out. And I went home and I was home on time. And I was like, ooh, thank God, saved. And I forgot about it. And then, they kind of selected me and they kept calling and they convinced my parents that how I should do it. So there was a summer break at that point of time between the 2 years and my parents said that, chalo, okay, if you want to do it, it's like a summer vacation kind of an activity kind of a thing. So we did that. And I used to laugh and joke through everything, while I was over there and while everybody else was very, very serious and wanted to make a career in films. And I thought that, yeah, I will learn this, it will be more like a self-confidence kind of a thing. And, I'll be able to do interviews better. And, that was the idea behind it. And I went and I did that. And by the time, before the academy, the month long or whatever that academy could be over, I had signed my first film. So that was that.
When you stepped on the sets, of course, the first film you said it went in more of, in the good spirit of it.
Yeah, though Naraz was my first film, I must say that my first film that I signed from the Starist Academy was a film called Ram, in which I was, Sohail was supposed to direct it. And at that time, Gattu and me were supposed to be the lead. And,
I can't imagine Gattu.
Yes, can you imagine? And, eventually after that, Arbaz and me were supposed to be the lead because after Gattu kind of, that didn't work out. We were supposed to be the lead. We had songs recorded and eventually one of the songs was used in a Feroz Nadiadwala film. But yeah, that film never got made.
But what was the point of film, Sonali, where you actually thought that, okay, I got to take this seriously and maybe I really like doing this?
That I think happened, after a certain point when you get better at it and you start enjoying what you're doing, or even more than, you don't really understand you're enjoying it, but you're getting better at it. And so you start looking at more challenges and, explore doing different kinds of roles. So it's when I did Anahat, I started doing a lot of South films also. And, so that also helped me. But I truly actually understood about it when I was going through my illness and when on the hospital bed, when you're looking at like, if I survive this, what is it that I'll do? I want to visualize what is it that I'll be doing so that, I'm manifesting that and, I want to visualize it. And the visual would keep coming back to me being in front of the camera. And I'm like, I never thought, I was just doing it for the paycheck. And I realized there that, at some point I had fallen in love with it and it was just my calling. And so yeah, here I am after restarting, getting a second chance and redoing things. Yeah. So hope to do it better this time.
We'll come to that because as we are tracing the journey, I came across this very interesting video of yours, you receiving Michael Jackson at the...
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And I was reading some news clippings. While doing the research, so much so that people ended up linking you up with him. Do you
with Michael Jackson?
Yeah, are you aware of those
articles?
I
never heard of that.
Yeah, I was reading articles and I'm like, wow, I need to ask Sonali that what was
I
this?
never heard of this. Oh my God, I'd never heard of this. But yeah,
that was a huge moment.
To Maharashtra and I was the Maharashtrian actress and I had won the Nawari sari with the nath and all of that.
Yeah, so that orange one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was Michael Jackson and of course you did that. And I could take all my friends to the concert.
That would have been such a huge high at that time.
Yeah, of course it was, yeah.
Your career, when I would say, if you look at the filmography, was at almost at its peak. You were doing Bollywood, you were doing South, and you decided to settle down. Like almost 2000s, if I'm not wrong.
Before I settled down, I decided to do television.
Yeah.
I did Kya Masti Kya Dhoom.
Yeah.
And everybody thought, what is wrong with us doing TV?
I was coming to that. I'm like, first I'll ask the marriage part to you.
Yeah, then after that I got married.
Yeah. But okay, let's then rewind it. Was doing TV at that time radical enough? Because you did it when barely anyone was even like remotely close to the fact.
I didn't. Now when you look back, it was radical enough. But for me, it was a very interesting show. And it was Look, it was good, clean fun with children. And I thought that was, I, I just didn't see why I should not be doing it, because it was, like I said, it was good, clean fun with great people. And yeah, at that point it was being produced by TV18. Vandana Malik of TV18 was producing it. So, and Samir Nair and Tarun Katyal were in the this thing, and they had come to me with it. So what I'm trying to say was that it was great people, and good people and clean people, and again, like I said, good, clean, fun entertainment, and and great money. So I thought it was a great opportunity to jump on it and do it, and I'm glad I did it, because nobody ever got that price again.
Nice. I like that anecdote. But then, what was this love affair with Goldie? From where did that happen? Because normally with actresses, we do end up seeing them either they get married to the co-actors, and you ended up marrying to a producer,
Producer,
director.
yes.
How did this love story happen? I haven't read much about it, so I need to know from you.
I met Goldie on the set of my first film that went on floor, which was Naraz, and directed by Bhatt Saab. And, in Chennai, while I was on set, Goldie had come to meet Bhatt Saab, because the next film of Bhatt Saab's was going to be his production, and they were writing it. So there was, while we would shoot, Bhatt Saab would do his writing session. So when the writing sessions would happen in the night, in the daytime, they would all come hang out. Shrishti, his sister, and him would come. That's where I met him. And he was one of those slightly annoying people who kept coming and trying to get very friendly. But eventually, I ended up doing that other film with Bhatt Saab that he was producing also. Eventually, as time went by, I did do that, and from a working relationship, we became friends, friends to best friends to eventually dating each other, and it was very organic. It was not like, oh, we decided to get married. We just knew we would marry each other. We just knew it.
That's so lovely. Sonali, what was that? I need to ask you because I remember when Sarfarosh came, and at that time, oh my God, you and that red dress and that hair clip is still one of the most viral ones. I think the most vivid one in our memories. If you then decided, of course, to get married, then your son's birth, everything in on the other side. If I would see that you were this diva, everyone was in love with. You were a crush of so many people.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that being the crush of people and you being called so beautiful and pretty, all those adjectives somewhere narrowed down the aspect of you being considered more as an actress? People focused more on the fact that, oh my God, she's so pretty.
So the thing is that, look, it's great to have an image, because that's what makes you, and that's what takes you forward, and it's an easier way to kind of last out, and it really gave me a career. But the same image that really worked at a certain point then does become somewhat like a trap or like a cage. And, getting out of that image, and not just here, even if you see, actors in Hollywood and all, when they're trapped in a certain image, when you want to break out of it, it just takes the longest time. If ever you manage to, it takes a lot to get out of that. And I think that's what has happened to me. It's taken me till now to get out of that.
But I think it was stint when you came back to the TV again to the full time and started the reality shows.
Yeah.
People actually saw
So reality shows were more like, while taking care of my child and all, it was more like the easiest way for me to have like a 9 to 5 job.
And to
it
be
was my
around.
equivalent to that, because you did 1 or 2 days a week, and then the rest of the week you could manage and whatever, and then you just had to give those 1 or 2 days. So that's what it was. I was being myself. It was great fun, and that was what it was. But I did go back to fiction at a certain point. When I did TV, I did a show called Ajeeb Dasta Hai Ye, which started off very interesting, and I wanted it. I really thought it was a very interesting show to do. But eventually, TRPs dictated what the storyline had to be.
The
Because
trappings of TV, which we all know.
yeah, so it was very sad, because none of us wanted it to be like that, but we were left with no choice. And I saw the surveys and the studies, and it was so sad because that's the way the surveys said that the viewers wanted it to be, otherwise they wouldn't get the ratings. And so slowly it went into the same old zone, and then I lost interest in it. So then my commitment was for a certain amount of time. I just finished it and moved on. And then that made me think, and I said, you know what, I need to just think, sit back and not do this because I don't want to do this. So I just went back to doing the reality that I was doing and just stopped doing, just stopped thinking of fiction altogether for that much, for some time. Because everything that was coming to me had a certain image, had a certain this thing, and I didn't want to do that. Then I thought that I came to a point where I thought that, will I have to write it for myself? What the hell do I need to do to, kind of get something different? And that was when 2018 happened, when I went through my illness, and COVID happened. And I've been reading a lot of stuff. And then at some one point when I read this script, it struck a chord and I wanted to do it.
Sonali, your illness started a lot of conversation also for that matter. Your battle with cancer, and God grace, you emerged out victorious, because I remember at that time when I was reporting and we were doing the stories, and there was this one day, there was this hoax death news about you. I remember I read, and that was the first time my editor sat me down and he told me, never ever believe what you just read online. You need to verify, and there is a life attached to it.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that, how profoundly it hit me, that it became such a big news deal.
Yeah.
Did you even realize the kind of noise it came with? It just became too much at time.
So one, I was not in the country, so I was a little like kind of away from it. But beyond that, I did understand that there was a lot of conversation around it. And, I've always been a very private person, so it was not very easy for me to do that. But when I put it out for the first time, when I put it out for the first time, the kind of response I got, I realized that, even though I'm so exposed and I feel like I know things and all of that, I still was caught by surprise by cancer. And I was scared to take the name, and I felt that, oh my God, that's it. And what I realized is that this is a disease which is so prevalent, and it's prevalent in every strata of the society, all genders, all age groups, everywhere. And nobody spoke about it.
Exactly.
Everybody treated it like if you got it, that means
Hush,
that
hush,
was it.
yeah,
It was
brushed
over.
under the carpet.
Yes, nobody spoke about it. It was something that they didn't talk about. So that is when I realized that, my God, people would hide it. And I said, but why are people hiding it? And I wish I knew, because had I known it, I would have checked it earlier. It wouldn't go to the stage that it has gone to. So that's when I decided that, even if it is for people who are going to hear it, I need to talk about it. I need to, I think that it's my duty to talk about it. And that day I promised myself I'll talk about my journey. And I didn't never wanted it to be a wimpy, whiny thing, because that's not the person I am. But I've never lied about it. When it is hard, I've said it's hard. But the way you got along, I've always given what it is, because I think it needs to be spoken about. And I remember at a certain point, Goldie sent me this picture. There was an article in one of the Financial Times or one of the financial newspapers where they were writing about how the number of tests being done had skyrocketed, and the amount of time, since the conversation had started. Yeah. So, and he said that, babe, you know what, you're doing something good.
Yes.
And, look at the amount of people who are testing and going and looking for it. And just to get that message across that, early detection cures cancer is so important to get across. It's not so scary if you detect it early. And you can detect it early only if you test it. And you're going to test it only if you're going to look for it and talk about it.
And if you're aware of this, even happens for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's where the conversation about it began. And I started talking about it. And the kind of love and the support I got was so overwhelming. And to a certain degree, it started off as saying that I think I need to do my duty about this. But the love that I got was really amazing, and it was just like an eye-opener. I mean, I never thought that I would get so much love. I mean, you can be popular, and you can be an actor, and you can be a star. You can be, your song can be liked, and like you said, you can't forget that image. But to get that kind of love it had never happened to me before, and I never expected that. So it was a very humbling experience.
I would think it was very brave also, because it's easier said than done than to sit here after all these years, and but to brave it and to have the heart to put it out and make other people while you're also in the process of healing.
Yeah.
It's a very brave thing to do.
No, I think it's also it's part of my journey, and it helps me heal also. So I don't think I'm being brave. I think I'm just surviving. So like trying.
I'll still call you a braveheart here for sure. But if I just put it on a nice, good note, I think you recently said that you would like to connect with Mahima Chaudhary.
I
She
did.
also, yeah, you
Yes.
did. Oh,
But,
lovely.
because when the news came out, I was promoting the broken news.
Yeah.
And actually, got to know of it because
Yeah,
somebody
because
asked
hers
me.
also came also like out
Yeah.
of
So
nowhere.
somebody asked me, and I said, what do you have to say? I said, guys, calm down. You've just told me it's a shock, and I will reach out to her and understand. I won't send her a message. I mean, that's such a rude thing to do. So I did. We did connect, and it was lovely to connect with her. Yeah.
And why I ask you is because, as we said, now people at least don't hide it. There is nothing to hide. You can come out and you
Yeah.
can brave your battles out in the open as well. All it
Yeah.
needs is maybe somebody like you to start a conversation.
Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, she did hide it, but and because her mother was not well or whatever. I mean, that's her story, but it's not my story to tell. But yeah, but I'm so glad Anupam brought it out because just to be able to talk about it it's so important to be able to do that.
Yeah, you can't just hold everything on
Yeah,
yourself.
you can't. Yeah.
Coming to your performance, I mean, the broken news was something you actually broke pretty much of the notions which were attached to you and your, as we said, the image of Sonali Bendre, which everyone talks about. And while we talk about the good part about it, then we have the broken news.
Yeah.
You have actually broken the image which, as I've been referring to since
Yeah.
like the beginning, the national crush kind of image which you had for everyone. Was it imperative for you to look out for a script? I think because what at least I have realized over conversing with you, that it needs to say something. There needs to be some substance to it. That I'm not going to just jump on
Yeah,
the
because
bandwagon.
once I had done with that and I wanted to break the image, like I said, it was not like break the image exactly, but I said, you know what, this is what it is. And see, one thing that I know from this journey of mine is that you need to embrace the imperfections. And so you need, it's hard to, but you embrace it, you start loving the imperfections, and you understand that there is beauty in imperfections. And when you get to when you figure that out, you're okay with the scar, you're okay with the bald head, all of that. The hair grows back then. But it's also even more important because you're going to grow old. Every one of us is going to. And I mean, I really don't want to spend my life fighting something that's an inevitable. And I do think that, I mean, I've earned these lines and I've lived a life, and that's why those lines are on my face, and I don't want to hide them. So I wanted to play a role that showed my age, and I could look my age, and I could, and yet not look dowdy or, not like, I think I do feel that I'm looking the best I've ever looked in that sense because there's just so much more character to me now. And so I wanted that. I wanted the character to have a strong voice. I wanted the story to be relevant. I wanted hope. So I found all of that in this, and yeah, so that's the reason why I grabbed it.
While you grabbed broken news, the journey from here on, because everyone loved it and they finally saw as I've been saying, the actress we are talking about here. Do you think journey from here on would be a little difficult or easy for you? Because now you're seeking new avenues, you're seeking stories, the hunger, the scripts, as you have said. At the hospital bed, you manifested that this is what you love the most.
I don't know if it will be easy or hard, or I don't know. It's a journey, and the point here is to enjoy the journey. So as long as there is a journey, it's all good.
If I ask you, Sonali, if you look back at all these years, at glorious 27 years we have in an industry where I often say it's so difficult to staying relevant for almost 3 decades. It's something I have to
Gosh.
give you for it. But if you look back, is there any regret, or is there anything you would have fixed it or done it right?
No. No, not really, because I think everything that I did is what makes me what I am today. And so I don't think I would change any of that because it was all part of my growing up, part of my evolution. And it's brought me here and it's going to take me further. So it's not going to stop here. I'm going to continue. So, yeah, the growth will continue, the evolution will continue.
And lastly, Sonali, if I have to close this with you, what is the life lesson, if I have to ask you, if I have to take it from you, from your life in your words? If you ask me, I have only one word, it's braveheart, as I have said you in the interview. But what if I have to sum up Sonali Bendre's life till now, the journey till now, as an artist, as a human being, in your words, what it would be?
It's the second, what do you say? The second part is just beginning.
And we are loving it. I don't think we will ask you to stop hereby.
Yeah.
So here's
not
to
at
good
all.
health, to good luck, and to more good work, because now
Thank
you're
you.
here with this newfound energy that you really want to be in front of camera. So we wish to see more of you here.
I hope so too. Thank you.
And thank you, because even while starting the interview, I won't lie, I was a little skeptical that should I touch upon the buttons which everyone has already spoken about. But then I also knew that I really needed to hear it from the one who I really thought had the courage to come out. It takes so much strength to
Thank
be
you.
out there.
Thank you for this conversation and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.